Hey everybody, on this episode of the Designated Survivor After Show, we're breaking down Season 1, Episode 17, 100 Days. Find out how Kirkman and his administration deal with so many different subjects, including the testy issue of gun control. Let's do it.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I missed the music. I missed it. I missed the dancing every Wednesday night.
You mean you just didn't play this for yourself when you were gone last Wednesday?
You know, I had a 2-hour plane ride today, and I should have just played it the entire time. You know, how many times could I get this song in? Yeah, like 24 times.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Designated Survivor After Show. Of course, we're breaking down every episode this season of Designated Survivor, airing Wednesday nights on ABC. I'm one of your hosts, Frank Moran. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HappyGoJackie.
What's up, guys? I'm one of your hosts, Christine Alexis. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Christine Bean.
What is up, everyone? Sorry, I'm talking to everyone on the live chat. I see all of you there. Thank you very much for joining us. You can follow me away from the live chat, away from the show on Twitter at Clouse TV. No, that is wrong. I am at the Only MC on Instagram and Twitter. It switched over a couple weeks ago. I still have not officially, I guess, come back. At the Only MC, Instagram, Twitter. We're talking Oreos tonight, but I had a bunch of donuts in the last couple days. See a great picture on my Instagram.
So proud of
Thanks for the story, Michael. I'm Renee Ariel, and you can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Renee Ariel. And I have a new blog post up, so go to sextingandthecity.com and read what you're thinking when he's not texting back.
Hey, great story.
Oh. And of course, folks, you can always like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and Michael's got the chat up and running, so feel free to jump in, share your thoughts about the series in general or this episode in particular. But as always, folks, I mean, sure, we come here to Designated Survivor, and that's what you come here to watch, but we all know in our hearts what we're really here for is to talk Oreos.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
And of course, you know, a few weeks ago, we started off the Oreo kick with Oreo Peeps. Now, Renee was not here that episode, and we would be remiss before we move on to the flavor of the week not to give Renee a chance to hop back in time and join the rest of us with a little taste of the Oreo Peeps.
Are you sure, though? Like,
Yes, absolutely.
Are you sure
So please, everybody, let's watch Renee's expression.
There's only 3 left. If they were so bad, why did you all eat them?
Well, we didn't say they're bad. This is you got to taste them.
It smells like
Get ready.
frosting.
Okay, that's great.
Ooh, drum roll.
Oh, listen to that, just that crunch.
Sounds like a broken bone or something like that. Oh. And it tastes like?
All right.
Your facial expression?
Yes.
Unimpressed.
It tastes like a stale vanilla Oreo.
What?
Oh, yeah. It's probably, not as crisp.
It's in a freshly sealed package.
This does not taste like Peeps, and this actually doesn't bug me.
Oh, wow. So you like this
What?
better than Red Velvet?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be way worse, guys. This is nothing.
Oh, look at that. Well, moving on to the flavor of this episode, though, Christine was very kind to get us.
Cinnamon bun.
Yes, you talked about it on the Twitters.
There's so much talk this week on the Twitterverse.
That's
We
right.
delivered, though. We got to give
There
the
you
family
go.
what they
So,
want.
Christine, please do the honors of opening up that
Yeah.
freshness seal there.
You know, we were talking last week that I would start this episode with a retraction
Oh, yes.
of last
That's right.
week's statement, but I'm going to hold off just in case these are better than the other ones.
Ah, all right. Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So let's just,
Oh, just
What's
listen
wrong
to
with that? Wait, what happened in the middle?
the engineers.
Ivan says, don't turn your back on the OG Oreos, Renee.
They are
Never.
still the best.
Oh, I will. All right.
I'm
get this
excited.
Ooh. Now,
Oh,
first,
thanks. Oh, you're not getting them both for yourself?
Yeah, don't worry.
the episode's young.
That laugh sounds like the beginning of that Spice
Holy, can we
Girls
talk
song.
about the smell real quick?
Smells great.
This is like probably the most smell of any Oreo.
Absolutely, I would agree with you on that.
Very cinnamony.
Smells like
yes.
cinnamon. Ready? What? Oh.
I'm hit or miss.
What
We've
are
only
you
done it
missing?
once. How was it a hit or miss yet?
What's not working for you, Michael Clouse?
I don't know what I was expecting. Maybe just I was expecting more cinnamon. I mean, they're good. I'm not like over the fence about
The
them.
cookie is cinnamon flavored. The cream is still regular. Maybe that's overpowering the taste.
It tastes like a Teddy Graham. Like, it tastes like all out like a Teddy Graham. I know this because I forgot about Teddy Grahams, and then I took a bite, and then I remembered all about Teddy Grahams. You know what I'm saying?
These
That's very
give me
scientific.
like major Dunkaroo vibes. I've been saying this. They smell like Dunkaroos. Taste like You guys ever had Dunkaroos?
The chocolate one.
All right. Initial impressions, though. How does this rank in terms of the others? Christine, do you need to wait to the end of the episode before you can fully rank these?
No, I'm gonna give them a solid 2 and make my retraction.
All right.
But the red velvet
We've got to retract.
Out of 5 or 10?
just
Wait, is
like
one number 1?
yeah.
Well,
Okay.
Yes, out of the ones we've eaten.
Out of the ones we've eaten, I was saying that what did I say? The lemon Oreos were the best in terms
Lemon
of like
Oreos,
eatability. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I could have like 10 of those. The red velvet ones were so good, but they were so rich that I felt like I couldn't have that many in one sitting. But I will see. Putting it all into perspective, I might have to get red velvet. Numero uno.
See, I'm glad I missed last week because I'm not a red velvet fan.
Yeah.
Of like a lot
So
of
we need
stuff.
to bring those back so you can try them.
That's right.
Oh, we don't have to do that.
What do you mean?
But people are wondering, are these worth the buy? We say yes. I say
Yeah.
yes.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Just go for
wow.
OG. Keep it easy.
Don't listen to her.
If you want to spice up your life, these are the way to go.
OG.
right.
If you want to spice up your life, add some milk. Maybe you do chocolate milk.
said add some
Ooh.
We're arguing too much over Oreos. We need to argue over politics like
That's right.
tonight.
So anyway, just so everybody knows, at the end of the debate, this is number 1. So there you go, guys. Boo to you, Michael Clouse. All right.
That's your number 1?
Number 1, absolutely.
All right.
Really?
Yes, this
No,
is it.
lemon.
Number 1. I'm not buckling from this one. I feel like this one's gonna go
Lemon.
season long.
I jumped shipped on the lemon one. They are really good though.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we start this week's episode of Designated Survivor with Tom Kirkman in front of the press saying, "You know what? I'm gonna call in a mulligan so far. My administration. I want another 100 days, and we're gonna start the clock right now. Just because I guess there's been a few things happening during the first few days of his administration. You know, he's had to deal with terrorist attacks, bombings, very unusual entry for a president. So he asks for another 100 days. Unusual? Would you give if you were in that situation? Would you ask for that? Would you be cool with giving him that?
I thought it was very fair.
yeah.
I mean, because you think when a president's first 100 days start, when they get actually sworn in, but the 3 months that they have, or 2 months that they have by the time they were elected, they have time to plan out whatever they're doing in the first 100 days. The first 100 days is really the first 170 days. It's not actually the first 100 days. There's lots of planning that goes into that. And so I think it's very fair to give him that. And I think it actually, and I realize this really plays off last week's episode with the former president saying you're only reacting. You're not governing, you're reacting, and you need to govern. And so I thought it was very interesting that this week they came out and it was a lot of governing and not a lot of reacting. So it seems like he definitely took the advice.
Yeah, I would definitely allow that because considering the circumstances, I think that's what you have to kind of give it a chance. It's not like a normal situation. So yeah, I think it was completely fair.
Now, seeing this, because certainly, and Michael Clouse has gone on record about many times, there's so many different storylines going on at once. You've got the family, you've got the politics, you've got the conspiracy, many other things. Seeing this episode where you see a lot of governing happening, would you be more excited to see the show if they started diminishing the conspiracy and focusing more on the governing?
I was thinking about that right when the episode ended, just that they drove that point home that this whole episode was about governing. We got the little bits and pieces of trying to follow leads, but even then they kind of crushed it in the final scene where we still don't get any answers, which is so frustrating.
Yeah.
But actually, to your point, I think they actually did a pretty good job this episode of blending all of those elements because we still did see the family. We got a little bit of them following up on the conspiracy, but overall it was about governing. So I think they executed that well. But I personally would want to see more about the conspiracy. That to me was the most engaging part of this season, for me at least.
Okay.
Right?
For me, it's like as a West Wing fan, I'm always a sucker for just some good political discourse and drama and intrigue. So for me, seeing an episode like this is like, all right, it's not West Wing, but at least it's on the highway driving towards the ballpark.
Okay.
What was I gonna say? I enjoyed the balance a little bit that tonight provided. I did not think that it was going to be as political as it got. I mean, like specific issues, and that's something we can talk about. Where I think it was very political. I think it strayed more left. I think it was a little left leaning of the topics that they talked about and his stance on some of those. But I didn't mind the balance more of. Getting to see the politics, and even there was a shot again where it actually showed like the press, and there was like a couple anchor reads, and I was like, that's something that I talked about previously of wanting to see that, of wanting to see the reaction, and so actually I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I actually agree with Michael. I liked the balance of it. I wish that we got to see a little bit more with the conspiracy, not in the sense of more scenes of it, just them actually getting somewhere, because this episode I was so excited. They were really moving forward. They were one step ahead at one point, and then we're right back to where we were with other situations, which Christine and I were actually talking about before we came in. So that was the one disappointment for me. However, I really enjoyed watching Hannah like on this chase. I thought that was very entertaining.
Yep.
Yeah.
Although I am getting, just to jump to the conspiracy part of it, because it was a smaller part of the episode, I am getting frustrated that every time they find somebody that can give them some information, they get killed in that episode. I'm like, come on, this is getting really irritating.
And you finally think someone's going to live because they're like, no, don't shoot her. And then he doesn't, and you're like, oh, good, she's going to live. And then she pulls out a gun, and then they have to kill her.
Yeah.
Which I will say also, she has a gun on her, and yet she's actually fighting with Hannah. Why are you fighting with Hannah if you have a gun?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a really good point.
Just take that gun and
I
start
literally
shooting.
just thought about this, of like, you're having a fist fight. Nope. You bring a gun to a fist fight, you're going to win.
I also think, I mean, I am pissed that they killed her off so quickly, but at the same time, thinking about it, I think I was more pissed off about the way Peter McLeish died, because he had a bigger story arc, and there was so much more to find from him. With Brooke Matheson, that was her name.
Yep.
We only saw like bits and pieces of her. She was really relevant when, obviously when she killed Jason Atwood's son, and obviously knowing that she was the puppet master behind a lot of things, but I mean, they didn't really give her a chance to develop anyway. They just kind of
At all.
Yeah.
And we were
It
just
was
learning
like-
about her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you think we'd get something that would make, I mean, at least the viewers feel better about the fact that she killed this guy's son. Like, we needed something more than just
We need
her
vengeance,
getting killed
yeah.
immediately. You know, like, that didn't make us feel anything. It was just kind of like, okay, now that's over, on to the next. When she killed this guy's son, like, you think, I don't know, I'm annoyed that they killed that storyline so quickly.
There is really little satisfaction when you see how mysteriously she was built up, throughout the course of the majority of the season, and then just in this episode, just like that. You're like, that was it for all this build-up with her, and how...
Yeah, I was like, the hope was there.
Yeah.
The hope was like, oh man, we're going to find out more. She's going to be able to connect the dots or something. And I feel like, we're back to square one of searching again.
Yeah, especially if you're going to start offering up the ideas of, like, why she fell off the grid and what happened to her father and stuff like that. So you're learning a bit about her backstory, but now she's dead and we'll never really know any real reasons for her. I'm like, all right.
I would have been much happier if after she died, it showed a scene of them like searching her or something, and then they found just a bit of evidence, something, a puzzle piece to this massive puzzle that we still really don't know much about. I mean, I guess they found out what their plans are, but just like another person, anything else, like to lead them to the next step, because now I guess they kind of know what they're planning on doing, but other than that,
Who's the bad guy? Who is the bad guy anymore?
right? That's the problem.
I'm thinking about that.
That's
And
true.
there's no one that they actually
Well, I'm thinking
know
about that
of.
now. Like, she can't be the only person in play. Like, she's out, but we don't know who else she was working with. I guess they'll introduce that new bad guy later. But right now, you're right. We're left with nothing.
But the preview did say, I forgot the beginning, but it was saying when you don't know who the terrorist is, pretty much, or when you don't. So I'm thinking they're kind of foreshadowing that it might be someone that we do know, right?
Well, I would think with
like
the last couple
circles.
weeks they've teased, there have been leaks in the White House, or still we don't know who, released some information. So I think that makes sense that it will end up being someone that we know about, that we're kind of surprised, which again leads into the question of Aaron, good or bad. And I think I'm leaning strongly more towards that he's good.
You don't find him working for Hook Stratton kind of suspect?
No, because I don't think he wanted to work for Hook Stratton. I mean, I see that he wanted to be a lobbyist. He wanted to get out of the game, and until his cousin convinced him, which they really played up the fact that, he could be bad. Look at him talking in a foreign language.
They did do that.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, you're really trying to make him seem bad, which I think, Ivan agrees. Aaron, good.
That's
So-
right. Before we hop over to that side, though, let's talk about one last thing with the Hannah
Good to
storyline.
go.
Is that we got Atwood back in action.
Yeah.
We saw him at the
Yeah.
gym, baking some gains, pulling a Michael
Yeah.
Clouse, pumping some
I
iron.
thought I saw him in there the other day. Yeah, he was killing that
LA
bench
Fitness,
press.
yeah?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But he actually, at first, when he goes off on that reckless driver, and Hannah's like, okay, this is not a great idea. I can't take you with me.
Yeah, imagine being the reckless driver.
It's like, what happened?
Yeah.
Boy, like, straight up
Raise your
came
hand
for
if you
him.
thought that was actually some kind of conspiracy.
I did for a half a second. I was like,
No. You just thought it was just a random driver.
Yeah, I didn't think much of it because they
it's
do
kind of
that.
unnecessary, though. That
It's
scene
always
was a little
like,
unnecessary.
what's happening? Then they're like, just kidding. In the show, often. It happens.
Because they not only did they have the car swerve in front, but they had another car directly behind.
And it
So
was
like-
while they were on their way to investigate.
Yeah.
So I did kind of think that at first. And then when it wasn't, I was like, oh, okay, why did he need to throw a tantrum? Like, why was that necessary?
But he comes around at the end. He stalks up on Hannah at the end, like, I'm ready now. Like, oh, all right. You weirdo? Okay, sure. Yeah, let's go do this. And the other last thing is our boy Chuck. He shows up, and poor Chuck. First, he gets his heart broken by Hannah because he thinks he's like, it's like, oh, I can get you a better futon. Like, I'm only here for a few more days where nobody can find me. They wouldn't think to look at me here. And I was like, oh, wah, wah. I was like, poor Chuck.
I looked over at you, Frank. I was like,
Yeah.
that was bad.
Yeah, poor guy. And then he gets his apartment blown up just because he's hanging out with Hannah. This
What
is
happened?
not.
No.
She ain't no good.
No.
No good.
That was a great moment though, right before that when she smelled the gas and he's like, "Oh yeah, they already like came to look at what was the gas company called that came to look at it? United
American
United or
DC
something?
United.
United.
Yeah. And then I love that moment where she's like, "They're not the ones that check the gas leak. The firemen do." And then that was great. I felt that was
Yeah.
a really great moment in Designated Survivor. I fully appreciated
that.
I give you kudos. I liked that moment.
And we had a nice, always the run down the hallways, explosions happen behind you.
Slow mo. Yeah.
There you go. Poor Chuck. I don't. Where's Chuck gonna be living now? Is he and Hannah gonna be?
Hook up with Hannah.
He's gonna like, Hannah, I gotta stay with you, lady. I mean, my apartment blew up.
My
Bear her
apartment
down a
blew up.
little.
All right, so sliding back over to Aaron, let's just take a moment to acknowledge Aaron's sweet unemployment hair. That man,
right away.
that hair was just
I was like,
untamed.
Not only that, but before kind of the show started, so many people were complimenting him on his style in this episode. They were like, "Whoa, Aaron, looking good."
Looking like a zaddy.
You know?
Yeah, that mane was just untamed and flying out.
yeah.
I loved it.
Wild.
I liked
Day
seeing
off.
him running. I was like, oh, hello.
Yeah.
Tall, dark, and handsome.
He's a
Ooh.
powerful
Dark, but-
runner.
Yeah.
I see you.
I hate running.
He's a he's a powerful
to the
runner.
Oreos?
What does that mean? What does it mean to be a powerful runner?
Just like look powerful.
I mean,
Okay.
definitely looked like he was hauling ass when he was running. It wasn't like just like a nice jog.
Yeah,
he was
it
like,
wasn't a jog. That was a run.
like
you
I'm
know?
chasing somebody.
He went on a run that morning. Like that's how I'd say it.
I love that. But then the other part of the episode is Michael's mentioning his cousin in town, and he's trying to set her up with a job with one of the other congressmen.
Espinosa.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, who knows if she will play any other part? What odds are we ever see Nadia ever again?
We're never gonna see her again.
No, I say we are.
No.
I don't think they introduced her. There was like otherwise there was like no point, I guess, other than Hook Stratton seeing Aaron, like that being the connection.
But will we see Seth's friends again?
Yeah.
Or will they keep introducing these characters that we're gonna see once, maybe twice, and then that's it?
I thought she could have potentially been someone new to kind of further the idea that maybe Aaron's bad, maybe he's working in the shadows doing something else, until they kind of had that heart-to-heart on the bridge when they were outside, and she's like, you know, you're the like person who made it out of our town, and yada yada. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess there's nothing there, but I mean, I could be wrong. They could just be setting it up that way.
Now, if
gonna
things
look it
in your life, if they kind of go sour, you lose your job, or fortune doesn't favor you, would your first instinct be to go back to your hometown? Was that where you kind of go to kind of maybe kind of find yourself or kind of reestablish everything, or would you try to just like, I'm gonna go somewhere else? I'm not gonna go back to my hometown. It's a little too small for me.
Well, if I needed time to like get my things together and think and figure out what's the next step for me, yeah, I'd go back home, or I'd stay where I was. I wouldn't go to a new place.
Yeah. Side note, very interesting that Aaron was actually born in Mexico. The real character of Aaron, Aiden Canto, was born in Coahuila, Mexico. I think I'm saying that right. Coahuila, Mexico.
Look at that.
He sings.
So Acuna, I guess it's Acuna, Coahuila, Mexico.
Does
Christine's
he sing
trying
and
to-
play guitar?
Christine's trying to find him on Tinder right now.
You see
So
me swiping
Aiden-
over here.
Aiden Canto.
So yes, that's his cousin with the job, and then happens to run into Hook Stratton there. And Hook Stratton says, you know what, your talents are too good to be just cast aside. You can't leave DC. You get too
You
much
don't
work
want
to
to make that money as a lobbyist. Who wants that kind of
He was
money?
fronting with that one. I just
do you think so? Do you think he was fronting? Do you think he was playing her to try to get a job on her?
Ooh, interesting.
I think honestly, aside from like the blow that he took, you know, they played it up how dramatic it was that he was so hurt by the fact that the president could think that he was bad and the way he was treated, as to why he's so jaded now and doesn't want to be near the White House. But he's an ambitious guy. Like before this point, his character was really strong and driven, and I don't think that he could just slink into a B-list role or however you want to look at it. I think he's just meant for more, and I think he needs that little push, that little pep talk, which I think Hook Stratton gave to him, and it worked in his favor.
You know, Hook Stratton mentioned something during their conversation. It's like, why are you so worried about? Because there's not a hint of a scandal with you leaving the White House. Do you think Aaron was premature in making that exit last week? Because Hook Stratton says, like, I don't know anything about it.
Looking at it objectively, he now has everyone in town asking why he did it, and they want a piece of his time. So it kind of does work in his favor to just leave, because now he could kind of go where he wants. I mean,
I find it interesting, though, that he's really talking about there being a mess and saying, oh, the media, you know, sees this and now they see a scandal. How's it going to look that he's now working, he resigns from the president to work for the Speaker of the House?
Yeah.
How does that look?
I agree.
Like, he's talking about there being a mess.
it would have been less of a mess if he had stayed and they worked it out, because at that point, people had already expected a mess from the presidency from the way it started. Like, if there was just one more little, you know, minor tiff, I think they probably would have overlooked that had he stayed. And then now we get this episode where, you know, Kirkman's starting over. It's his first 100 days. It could have been like a fresh start. He could have just stayed. Like, it didn't have to be that way.
Someone put in the live chat that they think Hook Stratton is playing Aaron.
I think so. I mean,
I can see that.
He's such a huge asset to her. So, of course, she's going to manipulate him.
She could be bad, for all we know.
Renee, you think anybody's bad any second.
Because you don't know. I stick by, I feel like Mike could also be bad. He's too good.
Still
coming
always
from
with Mike, man.
Because
Look
we
at that.
like him too much. Every other character we've questioned, we've never questioned Mike except for me.
Now, because Hook Stratton threw out to Aaron, he's like, you know, we may not have always seen eye to eye, but I've always respected you. Like, really?
Did you, though?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I didn't.
She kind of kicked him on the way out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, she kind of helped usher him out with that little leak to the good old Abe Leonard there. But anyway, so it looks like he's now working there as the chief strategist of the Speaker of the House.
Yeah.
And when he runs into Emily, Emily's like really frosty. And part of me is like, well, Emily, what did you expect this guy to do? I mean, he's either leaving town or he's becoming a lobbyist or he's going to try to stay in the game. Why are you going to be? Because she was so chilly with him.
Maybe she's like, I got to see my ex again. I don't know. But
She was hoping to move on with someone else, and now it's like, oh, this could be awkward if she sees me
her
with
plan
someone.
for Seth, like, that's like in the middle right now.
Oh my goodness.
No, I'm kidding.
Could you imagine?
I'm kidding. That's
I
never
didn't
gonna
think she
happen.
was that cold with him. I feel like she's been like that for a while with him, because apparently it's either hot or, you know,
Or
like
not.
lukewarm, maybe like kind of cold, like.
No, it's ever since that day at the piano. When she wouldn't play a song for him, and that was it. Taking a request? No, I'm done. Okay.
I think that initially when they started that little budding romance, I feel like it took a lot for her to like let him in, and then as soon as she found out that he could potentially be bad, like closed off. Like, I don't think they'd ever went
Here's
back
the thing,
from there.
you can't mix business. You know, business relationships like that where you're working never work.
Are you speaking from experience?
Oh, I'm speaking from multiple times of
tell.
experience. Multiple times of experience.
I've been there too.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to take a little moment here to have a little Michael and Christine moment here. Talking about this. So go ahead, guys. So let's
Let us
hear
know.
this.
I'm not
What
saying it's
happened?
not fun, but I'm saying it's, you know, there's something that if it ends, it always ends badly. There's always the competition.
Without naming any names, Michael Clouse, what was the worst ending?
The worst. Well, it's not like I don't want to say it's like terrible endings, because I don't know how this is gonna come across. I pride myself on being someone that, you know, I don't like bad endings. Like, I try to be amicable no matter what.
You just said they all ended badly.
No, I said they didn't end badly.
None of them.
None of them like explosion ended badly, but it's that awkwardness, and you know, it doesn't work out because there's that competition, or like you complain about things that we're all experiencing in the workplace. Yeah, no. And I think I've learned my lesson. I think.
I don't know.
We'll see.
I don't know. Christine?
Yeah, I mean, like, I can agree with the fact that it has its fun moments.
Yeah.
Definitely. But
It always starts out really well.
It does, and it never ends the way you think it will, I would
Nope.
say.
Mm-mm.
Not necessarily, like, really good or really bad, just not the way you think. I ended up dating somebody where I worked, but he got fired, like, right when we started dating, so it didn't last very long anyway.
Well, that wasn't really your
So-
fault. Then So once he got fired, was that pretty much it for you guys?
Yeah.
Fired from the job, fired from my life.
Yeah, I mean, it lasted for like maybe a week or two later and kind of fizzled out. So
Oh.
it's not hot if you can't do stuff together at work, you know?
We should have to do stuff like regular people, like in our own homes.
Like, go on
gross.
dates and stuff. No.
Oh, someone does say, though, I've seen Grey's Anatomy workplaces relationships seem to be the norm, so it's got to be okay.
That
You
is
know,
On Scandal, too.
on Scandal, yeah, but I don't think that main one worked out in Scandal, did it?
TBD.
I think
Catch
that's
me on
what-
Thursdays. We'll talk about
I
it.
think that. Whoa, good tease.
All right,
good
got it.
tease.
Just
Got it.
saying.
That was a good plug.
So we get during Tom's big meeting with the press. Go ahead.
Sorry, someone official Rizk R-I-Z-K says, "Are we forgetting that Aaron is the only logical person to make the call that Kirkman is the designated survivor?"
How is
what?
Aaron
I'm
gonna
sorry,
make-
say that again?
That are we forgetting? He says that Aaron is the only logical person to make the call to make Kirkman the designated survivor.
But I mean, the chief of staff said that that call had to come from somebody higher up than him, and Aaron's not higher up than the chief of staff.
Wait, what?
And
Aaron
at
is
the-
chief
at
of
the
staff.
time
You're
that
talking
they-
about
the previous
the Secretary of State?
No, the previous president's chief of staff, the guy that was on hiding, Charles or whatever. his
Yeah,
name was.
Langdon.
That Langdon, yeah. So he said the call had to come from somebody higher up than him, but he doesn't know who it was. And Aaron's not higher up than Langdon. At the time,
He's
he
closer.
wasn't. No, but at the time he wasn't. He was still.
Yeah,
he
what was his position under the last presidency?
He
Because he
was-
wasn't chief of staff then.
No, because that was Langdon was chief of staff.
Yeah,
Right.
what was Aaron?
He was lower than the chief of staff. I don't know
Maybe it was
exactly
the
what his
assistant.
position was. Yeah, so it couldn't come
Deputy, yeah.
he
someone
wasn't still in the
deputy chief of
mailroom,
staff, yeah.
obviously, but he wasn't chief of staff.
Yeah, he was deputy chief of staff. He would not have had power. Yeah, good call. We got a great discussion going on. I love the live chat.
Shout out to you
It's
guys. Seriously.
fantastic.
So Tom wants to try to start this way of governing by holding a town hall meeting. Have you guys ever gone to a town hall meeting for anybody running for office ever?
No.
No.
Would you ever go?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
found it to be very interesting.
I would've went when
I always
Obama
wonder
was-
how staged the questions are. You know, when you look at how I don't think they're. You know, I think what's going to be talked about because you know what the big things are. You know it's probably going to be asked, but you don't know the specific questions unless you're Hillary Clinton, and then you get them leaked by CNN.
Well, then do you agree that the last question where some other talking about gun control?
Great question.
Yeah, but something that they clearly did not expect.
Had no idea. I thought
Whether
it was.
she-
Actually, they should have expected it, considering his wife just made comments on it. Somebody could have just tried to throw
Yeah.
a wrench in his perfectly
Yeah.
staged town hall.
Or if she kind of lied about what the question she really wanted to ask that question. I don't know.
Yeah,
She could have done that, or they just didn't do a good job of kind of vetting those questions.
Mm-hmm.
But so he wants to go and do that. And overall, what I love first is that the scene, and I always like these in the movies or TV shows where they always do like the prep work for either a debate or a town hall meeting where where you
Yeah.
get to see like the chief of staff and everybody else, and it's like nope, you're being too professorial, you're being too dry, too talking about like numbers and stuff. You got to talk about the people. Got to relate to them.
It's that balance, which I thought they did a great job of this episode, of politics versus person. And trying to bridge that gap, which is something we've talked about in the past, of you don't want to be too political. You want to be different. You want to be the president who is also just someone who the people can trust and relate to, and you talk to them and talk with them, And I thought they did a very good job.
There's an episode like in The West Wing where back when he was running for his second term and he was going up against James Brolin, who was the Republican candidate. And the idea was like he was more like the homespun kind of country wisdom kind of guy, but not really that bright. And then President Bartlet, of course, being the very well-educated person that he was, the idea was like, well, people might be turned off by being somebody so educated leading the country as opposed to somebody that they could feel like they could have a beer with. And Bartlet says, no, you don't want somebody you can have a beer with. You want somebody that can, make the tough decisions and be smart and intelligent and lead you folks. Do you want that out of a president? Do you want to have that kind of? You want to feel like your president is very intellectual but still relatable?
I want to see both. I want the best of everything.
There you go.
I did too.
Do you want to hang with the president, or do you want him to be able to govern and lead this country effectively?
I think here's the thing. My view on the president is that anyone can, govern in terms of the best president doesn't need to have his hand in the pot of everything. He needs to be like a spoke in the wheel president. And I was a political science minor. We studied this as two types of presidents. You can be someone who has your hand in everything, and I want to be able to make this decision on everything, and I want to be able to approve of everything. That's exhausting. And the president should not be there's no president who's going to be an expert on everything. So the fact of trying to play that off of someone who is an expert, their knowledge is an inch deep and a mile wide. So you need to be a successful president. You need to be able to govern and be able to hand off your duties and delegate. Yes. Mm-hmm. And I think that is the best type of president. And you're someone who you can relate to, but it's also someone who can delegate and be like, okay, I'm going to nominate this person. I'm going to nominate this person. I'm going to be able to trust these people and appoint those around me to do the best job.
I agree, and I think specifically for Kirkman in this episode, he had no choice. He had to be both. Like, he had to be both personable and show his knowledge, because prior to this point, he was either being criticized for, like, being completely unprepared, or, people just not knowing him. Like, who is this guy? Why is he qualified? So he really had a tall order here to just hit all the points and really just be that perfect mix of everything, because I think yes, the American people developed a lot of sympathy for him after that shooting, but they still expected nothing less. They need to know, like, okay, we've gotten past that. Are you still actually the guy to do the job? And he, I think he hit it out of the park. I wish they would have asked that porno question. Shits and giggles.
Because you said at the end, I was like, oh, that went over too well. Because you felt like it was just too easy for him?
I mean, a little bit. I thought, I guess the way they made the suspense of that final question, I thought it was going to go left.
I felt like they were building it up to take a nosedive.
And then it ended up being like a really sincere, like, somber moment, which was good. I just was like, oh, okay. I would have liked a wild card there, but I guess that's what the prep scene was for, to give us that like comedy.
I felt like that moment when the general was talking about, like, how are you going to bring back jobs to Virginia?
Yeah.
And his
Great
moment where he
answer.
stopped.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, this isn't about me. This is about you. And just being brutally honest and saying, like, I can't tell you that your jobs are going to come back, because they're not.
Yeah, I liked that moment.
They did a great, I think this whole episode we're talking about his policies for the first 100 days. All of them are current topics. Yeah. I mean, he's talking healthcare, he's talking jobs, he's talking global warming. I'm trying to think what else, trade, immigration. And I'm listening to this and I'm like, yeah, that's current. Yeah, yeah, people are talking about that. Yeah. So they did a very good job of making it that people can relate. And having that answer about the jobs, man, no president would ever give that answer.
That was bold. He's like, if they told you that, they lied to you.
Yeah.
I was like, woo.
We're like, man, look at this
Fuego.
dude. Yeah, great. Loved it.
Yeah, no, I got to respect somebody that's going to be, even if you don't want to hear that truth, you need to be told it, because it's like, I don't want to be lied to, and then you're all of a sudden you've elected somebody, and then you start resenting them for not delivering on their promises when it's something they could never really deliver on in the first place. Mm-hmm. So yeah, then they also tackle the big gun control issue, which throughout this episode, Tom is saying, like, I want to stay away from third rail issues, Social Security, gun control, things like that, and he can't help but have it kind of come up because of his wife being asked that question when she was at a luncheon.
It was very interesting. I wonder why they chose gun control. I mean, as the poignant issue to talk about. I mean, I guess it's something that is still a little middle of the road.
Maybe because he just got shot?
Yeah, I guess that could be. That's true. I didn't even think.
But why not?
Tie it
What
together.
issue would you have preferred?
Well, no. Again, I'm not saying it's a bad decision. I'm just wondering how they kind of came across that. But yes, it makes sense with all the shootings. And I talked about this earlier of the policies. Yeah, and the policies that they chose, I felt maybe leaned it a little left with the talk about him with the guy with the jobs. And he said, we're going to create a social program to be able to get public works program to get all these jobs. And he said, we're also going to give free education. Or not, really good education for anyone who's out of work. So I thought that was interesting. Again, not necessarily good or bad, but interesting that they decided to do that.
And one person that is not necessarily in the Kirkman camp is Jack Bowman from Montana, former governor who became senator after the whole bombing.
Total politician.
Yes, and he big gun guy, big gun advocate. So not happy when he starts hearing about the president's wife making a comment like that. It's like, who's really running the office? Is it her? Is it him?
How long do you see him lasting? 2 episodes? Over or under?
Is that his political adversary now? Like, that's just...
I don't know. I could see 2. I don't think
over under 2. I gave you an over. You got to go over under. It's either he's done next episode or he stays for 3. What's your choice?
I'm gonna go under. Say 1.
What do you got, ladies?
I'm gonna go over. I say 3.
I'll venture and say 3 as well. And I feel like this Bowman character is somebody that we absolutely would see in politics today, just with his hard stance. And if they do want to take the show in the direction of talking about governing, like, that is someone that he'd encounter in DC, and like that's a real, actual hot button issue that he's gonna have to tackle, and they gave him that one. So
yeah, because I feel like the way the show is in their accelerated pacing, there hasn't been an issue even at the beginning where we had all the Muslim issues. Was it in Michigan, I believe? That lasted like a couple episodes, and that was it. So I don't know if like we go more than 2 episodes dealing with an issue,
unless he's somehow connected to the conspiracy.
Yes.
Then we got a season.
My.
We got the whole damn season.
I'm gonna go under, by the way.
Okay, why?
I don't see it going 2 or 3. I see it being an issue that they come to an agreement next week. It makes Kirkman look good. Bada bing, bada boom. He solves it, and he looks good. Ivan says just next week, and that's it. Michael Martinez says over for sure, but hoping under.
And how do you feel about Alex, too? Because this is a different role for her, too, as well, where all of a sudden now her comments are being perceived as comments that are coming from the White House. And now she's got to go on TV and backpedal those comments without, like, making her seem like, she's, cowering, but still, but also not as she's speaking for the administration.
I thought it was very similar to being a first lady versus being just a wife and a mother and a woman. And I thought they did it very well.
I thought she killed it. I thought she did a great job. It didn't make her seem like she was like weak or backpedaling. It seemed like she was just being honest, honestly. And I think she did a great job in the interview, and the whole situation was understandable, like why he felt that she should say something afterwards and why she said something in the first place. Like everything made sense. None of it was like, why did you do that? Like it was all, how is she going to get out of that situation?
I gotta say, she's killing it. Like, has her character ever really like messed up bad,
right?
And like not redeemed herself yet?
No.
Like
She's
she's
very
literally
classy.
always, she's so classy. She's
So
always
classy.
on point. She's always understanding, no matter what happens to their family. She always gives great advice. I'm like, damn, like I'm not mad at it. I'm just saying, she's just killing it.
But I like how they only played that portion of the clip. Because without it lacked the context of her saying after that statement, like, I don't have all the answers, but I think these are questions that need to be asked. I feel like that frames it in a way where it's just like, this is just something to be talked about. I'm not trying to dictate, some kind of the administration's policy about this.
Yeah.
So we've got. But then we also Tom has some people from the Senate come in, and basically he has this little speech. Well, I'm an independent, and I feel like this is a really great time for us now in this kind of new landscape that we are, that we can really try to build a new government, or a truly bipartisan government. And I liked his olive branch to Bowman, saying, I know we're not going to agree eye to eye on this, but I think we should work hard to at least come to some consensus that we agree with.
Do you think that he might have been too trusting in that situation, that everyone would be on board?
I think in that moment he was, because Bowman just like, yep, I'll do whatever you want, sir, and then went right back out and said like, no, we're going to introduce this really cool bill that I've already got.
It's like high school. You think everything's fine. It's like, oh man, Becky actually hates me.
Sure, you can say that. That's not really.
Yeah.
Like...
Ooh, someone pointed out in the live chat, and they are correct. IMDb has Bowman at 5 episodes.
Oh, you're right.
Ladies!
5.
That's right. That's right.
Oh my goodness.
Man, so that
Well
Oh
done.
my goodness.
Well done, official Rizg.
Which then I
Seriously.
feel like this way that's going, then it's leading us to 2 episodes from the season finale. So then I feel like those last 2
That's it?
episodes, yeah, because that'll bring us up to episode 20,
Oh.
and then
I feel like they
Crazy.
can't talk about gun control for 5 more episodes, though.
well maybe there'll be
There's got to
other
be
issues.
something else.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll be like the conservative voice.
Well, because at least like the way those scenes from the next week's previews, like with Hook Stratton's like get out of the way. So I feel like Hook Stratton and him aren't going to see eye to eye either.
Because Hook Stratton's liberal, right?
And she's Republican.
She is Republican. They said that
Yes.
in that scene with Alex and Emily.
That's
Emily
right,
and
because
Aaron.
Aaron's a Democrat.
Yeah.
That's right.
Or he's
Aren't
in
you
on
a
the
card
So
carrying
it's interesting that
Democrat?
they would bring up another Republican voice.
Wait, what'd you say?
No, he's in on the conspiracy.
Of course he is. So of course Tom says, "Hey, we got to go to war because Bowman's introduced this bill. It's very soft, but if he doesn't support it, it seems like he was a hypocrite in the town hall. But if he goes with it, there's so many loopholes in it.
Struggle of politics.
Yeah. But it feels like Tom is not going to go down without a fight for this.
No, he's got his game face on.
Yeah. And then we get to say, I feel like this is probably just I said last week was the perfect amount of Leo. I was fine with this amount of Leo that we got here this episode. Christine, I know you're a big Leo fan.
Yeah, he came in clutch in that little scene. Like, Twitter thinks he's killing it. Like,
They-
he's not a total idiot.
Alex
like,
said he was growing up.
Yeah. I mean, we saw just enough. Like a little Salt Bay, like just a little bit.
Boom.
That's it. No more. That's it.
Salt Bay, nice.
I know Renee is our fellow Leo fan.
Yes, I will say it did help that Tom Kirkman brought in pizza while we saw Leo because I like pizza, but I hate Leo. But them together made it like I could deal with it, you know?
So they said pepperoni and vegetarian. Do you think Leo is a pepperoni guy or a vegetarian guy?
He seems like the guy that was like, no, I don't want pepperoni. I want vegetarian. Like, give
Yeah,
me
I
the
can see
veggies.
that. I can see
you know?
that.
And then they're like, fine. And no one else likes the veggie pizza, but they get it anyways for Leo. And then he like only has 2 slices and then throws the rest
And then
out.
the rest is left over. And that's why we hate Leo.
Would you, if Leo and you were sitting there with the pizza, would you stay and eat the whole pizza with Leo? Would you sit there and have a full pizza dinner with Leo?
Like, was it really good pizza?
Imagine,
Chicago deep dish.
all right.
Yeah.
You're
I thought I was
actually
hungry
not.
enough.
I've never
But would you-
had Chicago.
Would you
deep
be
dish.
silent during this whole meal because you don't want
Yeah.
to talk to Leo? Let's eat our pizza
Could
in
I have my
silence.
phone on me?
No.
I'd still stay for the pizza. I love pizza, man.
Veggie or pepperoni?
Pepperoni.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you going veggie or pepperoni?
Oh, I'm not going anything without meat.
No?
I mean, come on. Give me pepperoni, sausage, bacon,
Yes.
extra bacon, more bacon, and bacon on top of that. Canadian bacon.
Wow.
Okay.
So
Really
you just want
likes
crust,
bacon.
Oh, yeah.
sauce, a light coating sauce, and just meat. Cheese is optional at that point.
Oh, cheeses. You know, my thought process is if you can see the pizza through the extra mozzarella cheese that you put on there, it's not enough.
You know, I thought maybe Michael only eats Oreos in a gross way, but then it's
I also eat
pizza.
lots of meat pizza. Yeah.
Is that, so you totally, if you go to Pizza Hut, it's meat lovers all the way for you.
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
And I'll go so far as to say, for the female that I might be looking for, I don't know if I could. I don't think I could date a vegetarian.
Gotcha.
Come on now.
All right. On my Instagram, you noticed I had a spaghetti and meatball pizza.
Yeah.
Yes.
What?
I did see
Wait,
that.
you
Was-
where?
Down in Santa Ana. It's,
That's
spaghetti
a
meatball.
drive, but a drive
It's
I'll
worth it.
make.
Yes. Go there on a Saturday night. You get spaghetti and meatball pizza.
Take a look at
I'm gonna
that
ask you
one.
after
Yes.
the show's done.
So I guess as we get ready to start wrapping this up here, I think we should start talking about what we think may happen in the future.
Yeah.
Now,
Ooh, I had something
your
else to.
AfterBuzz TV.
Yes, go for it, Michael Clouse.
Oh, what was I going to. No. Go for your thing. Go for prediction.
Oh, can we start on that side of the table?
Yeah, we can.
Sorry, Renee.
Michael, what do you think?
What a great deflection.
Man, I don't think there's going to be any more explosions. You know, they really teased that. Oh, look at all these future things that could happen. I think the security is so heightened. I see those as more other possible targets and not actually going to happen. I know we actually on our AfterBuzz Twitter page put out the quiz of do you see any more future targets happening? No. I also see the president winning the battle with Bowman in the gun. I see him using one of his legal loopholes because they were asking, at the end of the episode, hey, do we know any amendments or how can we put this together? I see, him and Alex using their, legal wisdom and being able to overpower. And I'm still saying Aaron's good. Still on the Aaron train.
I'm gonna have to agree with you that I don't think any explosions will happen. I think actually they will find a way to get ahead of that situation, and it'll end up being like a hallmark of his presidency that he stopped all of these further future attacks from happening, and being the phoenix that rose from the ashes, like he said in this episode. And as far as Aaron, I just see Hook Stratton manipulating him, and then maybe him possibly jumping back to Kirkman's team. I don't know. I don't see him exiting this landscape by any means. So that's all I got.
It would seem weird if because I do wonder what they're going to do with Aaron. Because
Yeah.
I feel at some point he's not going to stay with Hook Stratton, so then he's going to break off. But could he go back to the Kirkman administration? That would seem weird. I would.
That would be weird.
It would be weird, but I don't think it's like far off.
I see him as a total exit. If he does leave. I mean, I'm not saying he does leave because he's listed as 22 episodes the whole season on IMDb. But I'm seeing that if he leaves Hook Stratton, then he's gone. I don't see him going back to Kirk. I think that'd be weird.
Yeah, because I feel like would you lose some credibility in the DC political scene if you're just flip-flopping between Republican and Democrat? I don't know. I feel like we're going to see these terrorists, these bombings set up. I feel like that's going to be a lot of drama. They're going to try to stop something from blowing up. So I feel like we're going to get to the step where one of those targets is one of those landmarks that we saw is going to be the target, and they're going to finally find which one and stop them just at the last moment before something blows up. I figure we have to like milk it for everything we can.
At least until the finale.
That's right. We get to see the counters timing down and all that stuff. And then I'm going to say like Hannah and Atwood. They're gonna kiss.
What?
That was
He's
weird.
married.
What?
It's not going well for those two.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Okay.
What about Chuck?
I think Chuck will get some play.
No.
before
What about
Atwood.
Chuck?
Nah,
know
he's
about
homeless
that.
now. He doesn't have a home.
Part of me is thinking that Chuck might be bad.
What? No.
He could be.
I don't know. Part of me just keeps
He's not
thinking
smart.
this.
What?
Because what guy in on it? It's like, you know what? You can blow up my apartment. No. That's where my stuff
Unless
is.
that's not
That's
really
where my
his apartment. He actually lives somewhere else. I don't know. I'm too paranoid for this show.
You
but
are.
I will say, I think that Emily and Aaron are going to start hanging out again at some point before the end of the season.
Yeah.
And I agree with Frank on, not Atwood and Hannah,
No.
but I agree with you on, I think they're going to be like chasing after what they think the next terrorist attack will be and then stop it. Or maybe stop most of it and there will be something like that. But last minute, like, yeah.
Do you think Kirkman will just like rip off his suit and then become Jack Bauer, and the timer will just go
Someone
down?
in here
I
mentioned-
see it.
I think Aaron's gonna
Come
run.
on.
I think
You
it
know?
was the truth in here mentioned that he really wants to see Jack Bauer for like
I
just
do
a couple
too.
seconds.
I do. I mean, that's why I signed up for the show, to be real. I was like, I love that character. I love Kiefer. I love the idea, but like, I did really want to see just a little sprinkle of that, kick-ass Jack Bauer persona. At least towards the end. I mean, you got to stop a bomb. Like, that's classic Jack Bauer. Like, no.
That's
True.
classic Jack.
Come
But
on.
it was cool to see him funnel it in more of a like charismatic, empathetic way during that town hall meeting. I felt like, man, all right, this guy's really delivering it. I thought
Yeah.
Kiefer really nailed those scenes there.
All right.
Renee, just another question, because you're so paranoid. If
Yes.
you were living in the world of the show, would you even leave your apartment?
No.
You would just stay there because you could never trust anybody.
Yes.
No, I would have loaned it.
That's why I have cats.
I just have the pizza guy. Just keep delivering
And the
it.
pizza guy. Zeno's Pizza.
There you go.
Hit me up.
But
Slide
not-
into my DMs.
But not even, but not even delivered to you. It'd have to be like at a third-party location or something because it couldn't come
I
right
would
to your door. You
put in
wouldn't
my
trust
like
it.
neighbor's address and then be like, oh, sorry, I was visiting, and then get the pizza and then go back to my place.
Get them to cater our after
Wow.
show.
Yeah.
Come on.
Zeno.
He knows.
Hit him up. Can you do that, Renee?
So what I was gonna say is a little quiz. Emily Rhodes gets promoted to chief of staff for the president. In the history of the U.S., how many female chiefs of staff have there been? 2, 1, or 0?
Gosh, I'm gonna say 0.
Ladies,
I'm gonna say 1.
I'm gonna say 0.
never have there been.
That's
Female
so
chief of
sad, but
staff.
I'm happy I was right. Oh, sorry.
I was being optimistic. I guess that was
right. Girl, I felt you. I wanted to be like
Yeah.
1, 2.
Yeah, I thought it was a
but-
trick question. That's what I was like, maybe
I because I was thinking when they did that, and I was like, I'm trying to think my recent memory, and I don't remember there ever being a female chief of staff.
Well, as we're getting ready to wrap up, I feel like we should all have one more of these Oreo cookies.
I don't know if I
I'm
can
full.
do it.
You can do it,
How many
Michael
did you
Clouse.
have?
You gotta do
Go
4
for
or
it.
5.
Come
I think I
on.
lost
Other side.
count. I kept seeing it out of the corner of my eye. I'm like,
Don't be judging me.
not at all, honey.
Can you
These are
guys
for
can
Not at
you
all.
feel the judgment going on here?
Oh,
Come on.
all right, I'll be
Yes.
wired for the rest
There
of
you
the
go.
I
night.
feel like those Oreos are less put together than the OG Oreos. You know how
Less
the
put
OG.
together?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, like, you know how the OG Oreos are like stuck together? Like that's a cookie. Like those felt like someone like got like the cream middle and then like quickly threw it together.
Is this how they do the cream middle? They're like holding it like a little sheet
This
of paper.
presentation isn't good enough for you?
No.
There's a good amount of cream in there, though. I will
I
say
like that
that.
you think that
Yeah.
these are all handmade sandwich Oreo cookies. Like somebody's they're just
Lot
like,
of thought.
yep,
That's
Absolutely
how
not.
they're made.
they're not handmade. No, that's a shame.
Take a look. Not handmade.
Oh, man.
Dang
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this episode of the
That's it.
Designated Survivor After Show. But more importantly, folks, tweet at us. Let us know what flavor of Oreo you want here next week. That's the most important thing overall.
Yes.
Most important.
And our poll on AfterBuzz.
Very true.
Yeah.
But also like us on Facebook. Give us those 5 stars on iTunes. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thanks, everybody, for hopping in the chat. Loved hearing all your thoughts and comments about the show. And if you want to continue the conversation with us even after the show's over, Renee, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Renee Ariel, and check out my blog, sextingandthecity.com, and go read what you're thinking when he's not texting you back.
I don't even know what he's thinking. But you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at TheOnlyMC. Again, I got lots of donut and food pictures. I just got back from Denver today, like 4 hours ago. Glad to be back. Sorry I missed last week.
But he
Excited
came
for
here
the
tonight.
rest.
He could have stayed at
We're
home,
happy
but he
to have you
came
back.
here.
Could have.
Could have brought the donuts.
Ooh, maybe next week.
Bring that so we can supplement the Oreos. You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Christine Bean. Hit me up. I'm going to make another Target run this week, so we need to know what Oreos you want. Let us know. We are doing a good service to the Oreo lovers out there and letting you know why or whether or not you should waste your money.
That's right, folks. You will not be wasting your money with cinnamon bun.
Oh, yeah.
Cinnamon bun. I tell you that
No,
right now.
they're good.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HappyGoJackie. Folks, that's going to do it for this episode. We'll see you back here next Wednesday night with another episode of the Designated Survivor After Show right here on AfterBuzz TV.
Adios.
Adios.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.